Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 191, season 8. Today's date is January 15th, 2023. And welcome to the show. I'm back again. I did another podcast yesterday. This episode I'm going to do today is somewhat unusual. It's not really Chicago related, but well, I'll give it a go anyway. I will talk about the 50th anniversary of Schoolhouse Rock, and I used to watch these animated shorts when I was growing up in Chicago in the 1970s, and I will talk about its history and the animated shorts, the most memorable ones, of course. And this will be a lot of fun. And this will go back to a time where when we watched television, it was innocent and fun and not very flashy or state of the arts like that. Just simple. That's the way I like it. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me. Okay. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Nestle Cookie Mix. And this commercial is from 1978. And as for me, I love cookies, especially chocolate chip. So I remember this commercial very well. So I'm going to play it right now and sit back and enjoy. Thank you, everyone.
You're a real smart cookie, Nestle.
You put real chocolate chips in your cookie mix.
You're a real smart cookie, Nestle.
You put chunky peanut butter in your cookie mix.
You're a real smart cookie, Nestle.
You put sun-made raisins in your oatmeal cookie mix.
New improved Nestle cookie mixes have all the right ingredients to make cookies taste really homemade.
You're a real smart cookie, Nestle. You make a real great tasting cookie mix.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Nestle Cookie Mix. Well, Nestle is known for chocolate bars, like for Nestle's Crunch, $100,000 bar. Oh, I love those. And I guess there was like a competition between cookie mixes. Duncan Hines did this. Pillsbury, that's the king of that. And let's see what else. Chocolate chip is one of my favorites. My favorites are Oreos. I can't resist them. When there's a few Oreos, I can't stop eating them. And but one of everyone's favorite memory when they're growing up in their house is when their mothers are, baking homemade cookies, chocolate chips, sugar, peanut butter, what have you. And you place them in the oven, and then when they're cooking in the oven, that aroma just seeps through your nostrils, and it smells so good. And then when they're ready, you're hot. They're so hot, but you can't resist. So you gotta wait. You gotta wait to be cooled off, and then you can have some. And of course, another great memory is once they're done and ready to eat, you have a big glass of milk, just like I did. But that was with Salerno butter cookies. Ones they're made in Chicago. They're still made, but they're not the same as in the old days. But those were great. As a matter of fact, I posted on my Vanished Chicagoland page these two types of Salerno cookies. One was Royal Grahams and Royal Stripes, and they were the greatest. They were good. They were one of my favorites. Keebler makes those now, but doesn't taste like the Salerno ones. They're acceptable, but not the same. Excuse me. Okay. In the beginning of the program, I said I was going to talk about the 50th anniversary of Schoolhouse Rock. These are these animated shorts that aired on the ABC network in Chicago. They aired on WLS-TV Channel 7 in Chicago in the early 70s. And I won't talk like each episode, maybe most of them, but I'll talk about the history of that and my memories of watching them while I was growing up in the 70s in Chicago. And They were aired on Saturday mornings. Sometimes they aired Sundays. I believe they did, but that was later on. But mostly it was Saturdays during the cartoons. Now we don't have cartoons on Saturday mornings. They have news, infomercials. Uh, what else they got? Yeah, that's about it. Those poor kids right now, they have no idea. But cable changed that, and video changed that. So they have Nickelodeon and or streaming. If you want to watch, if your child wants to watch cartoons, that's fine. But sometimes the parents watch with them, and parents would say, "This is dumb," but you should, But when they were younger, they watched dumb cartoons too. When you look back, but some were fondly loved and remembered. Like me, I have a few on DVD that, like my favorites were like a Saturday morning. I love Josie and the Pussycats. I love that. I have them on DVD. Also, they went in outer space. Also, Scooby Doo. That was a lot of fun watching that. Okay. Now, for Schoolhouse Rock, this premiered on January 6, 1973. And the idea of this was a man called David McCall. And he was an advertising executive, McCaffrey and McCall, maybe from New York, I don't know. And he noticed his son was struggling learning the multiplication table. For me, I had no problem. It was I did very well with that when I was in school at Correa's, and he didn't memorize the multiplication tables. He memorized the lyrics of the Rolling Stones of the songs. So David McCall hired this musician. His name was Bob Doro. I think that's how you say his name, to write a song that would teach multiplication. I don't know how he knew. Yeah, he just hired him. Probably through the grapevine, or that happened. And the first song he wrote was called "3 is a Magic Number." And there was a illustrator at the advertising agency. His name was Tom Yohe. It's spelled Yohe. Heard the song, and he created the visuals. He was the illustrator of that. And they pitched it to ABC as a TV series. And at the time, there was Michael Eisner. He was head of Walt Disney Company. He was the CEO, but I don't know what he did back then. And he was vice president of ABC. Okay. And then for the cartoon director, they hired Chuck Jones, famous for Bugs Bunny, those cartoons. Yeah, that's interesting. So that was the development of Multiplication Rock. And that's what started Schoolhouse Rock, But it was Multiplication Rock was the umbrella. Schoolhouse Rock was the umbrella, and all the other rock songs fell under that. So I said before, the first video was called 3 is a Magic Number, but it did not debut on January 6, 1973. They originally debuted on a TV show which aired on Saturday mornings called The Curiosity Shop. And I remember this very well. And that show, it was an educational show, and it started in 1971 on September 11th. And it was, like I said, it was educational. It featured 2 boys and a girl. I talked about this on my TV Oblivion podcast about that show. And they talked about history, science, nature. They had dancing, singing, and all that. And they premiered that particular anime short on the show. And it was a little different than in. Let's see. And so it was the Curiosity. The show was the pilot. It was called the Curiosity Shop Special, and it was hosted by Shirley Jones, and she appeared on that, and it featured 4 kids. and it made its debut. Um, Actually, it did not debut on Saturday. It debuted on a Thursday, September 2nd, 1971. And 3 is a magic number. They showed it. And I guess it caught on, and it only, that lasted 3 minutes. How uncanny like that. So I never seen it when they aired it. I don't remember. I just remember from Saturday morning like that. So and let's see. So So the series started January 6th, 1973 on ABC, which is WLS-TV Channel 7 in Chicago. And that was Multiplication Rock was born. And Bob Doro wrote this, performed the songs, and he performed. And then they had other singers as well. There was a singer called Grady Tate. He performed 2 of them, and there was a woman singer. Her name was Blossom Dearie. She performed that. And General Foods was the first sponsor of the Schoolhouse Rock, and the others were Nabisco, Kenner Toys. Remember Kenner Toys? Like Easy Bake Oven, Kellogg's, and McDonald's. And they ran it. I'm sure they repeated this during the summer, like that. And so that it was on its way to be classics, like that. And let's see. So I have the list of the. So Multiplication Rock had 11 episodes, and it aired from January 6th to March 31st of the same year, 1973. And so that's about 2 months. So I'll read the episodes real quickly, and I'll tell you. So 3 is a magic number. That was the pilot, and also. And there was a scene that was cut in air. It was showed. I don't know what it was, so they can't find it. I wish they put it on DVD, so that would have been great. And it goes, 3 is a magic number. Once you start singing like that. Okay, and episode number 2 was My Hero Zero, and that was like a young boy. He was a superhero, and then he was later redesigned as the franchise mascot of Schoolhouse Rock as Schoolhouse Rocky, and he shows his skeptical older sister the importance of the digit 0 as well as the multiplication by powers of 10. So it's My Hero Zero, like that. I love that. That one's my favorite. I like that one. All the songs are catchy like that. So most of the songs, those 2 were performed by Bob Doro, and he did write those as well. He wrote the lyrics. Okay, and the episode number 3 is Elementary, My Dear. Remember that one? So it's 2 times 2 is 4, and that was set with Noah's Ark because the animals were paired up like that. Elementary, my dear, 3 times 3 is 9. like that. I like that. That one's good. And Bob Doro performed that. Okay. And then we have the 4-legged zoo. And Bob Doro sang that with some kids in the chorus. And that one is about a teacher. Her name is Miss Simpson. She took her class to the zoo, and when they use animals to learn the multiplication of the number 4. I did that. Number 5 episode was Ready or Not, Here I Come. And there was a boy and who's the oldest of the group. He counts by 5s, and they play a game of hide and seek. I remember that. And then the 6th episode was I Got 6, and that features a African-American kid. He was the main character. He teaches the multiplication of the 6, and he visits in his neighborhood, and he visits a candy store, a restaurant, and explores the commutative property multiplication. He did it. That's a catchy song too. Number 7 was Lucky 7 Samson. He was a rabbit. He had the number 7 stamped on the bottom of his right foot, and he had a black circle around his left eye. And he teaches kids from public school number 7, and he teaches about the multiplication of 7. So that's great about that. I remember this. Figure 8. There's a young girl. She's ice skating, and teaches about the multiplication of 8, and that's sang by Blossom Dearie. She sang that. Figure 8. Dun, 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 like that. Okay. And now we have number 9. That's episode number 9. That's Naughty Number 9, and that features a kind of a Minnesota Fats-like cat. He was a pool hustler, and he plays a game of 9-ball with a mouse, and that was his target, and showing the multiplication of the number 9. That one I liked a lot, and they had a big fuss about that because he was smoking a cigar, and then about a couple of years before, they banned smoking, on advertising on television, but that was okay. They allowed that, yeah. And so Naughty Number 9, like that. Number 10, they did not show the number 10. I don't know why. They showed the number 11, and it's The Good 11, and that was sang by, Naughty Number 9 was sang by Grady Tate, okay? Excuse me. Then The Good 11 sang by Bob Doro, and that was Wing Angels take us through the multiplication of number 11, and continuously bump it into the number 10. That's probably why. And then the last one of that for Multiplication Rock was Little 12 Toes, and that's sang by Bob Doro. I like this one, and he's like something from outer space. He looks like the Mad Hatter, and that was a weird one like that. So they're all classics. They really are classics like that. So that's kind of cool, like that. Okay. Then in the fall of '73, Grammar Rock premiered and did that. And but right now I'm going to play this is the introduction and the outro of Schoolhouse Rock. They showed this very rare like that. So I'm going to play that. And when I come back, I'll talk about Grammar Rock. Okay? Grammar Rock, excuse me. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the introduction of Schoolhouse Rock and the outro. That's what they say. I remember this, but they didn't show it on TV much. So right now I'm going to talk about Grammar Rock. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So that premiered, Grammar Rock, that was season 2. That premiered on September 15, 1973. And there were some others, singers besides the usual one. So I will describe the episode and the who sang those shorts. Okay. Let's see. Number 12 episode was a noun is a person, place, or thing. I like this one. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So, and it was this was performed by a singer. Her name is Lynn Ahrens. I can pronounce it right. She wrote the song. And that's a catchy song. I like that. I really do. Number 13 was Verb, and that's what's happening. That was performed by a singer. His name was Zachary Sanders. Bob Doro wrote that song, and this is about a young boy learns about verbs from a movie starring his favorite superhero, Verb, and it's like an homage to black exploitation films. Remember like was it Jackie Brown or like Superfly, like that, or Shaft. Remember those? And number 14 was I think this was everyone's favorite. It's one of mine too, and it's Conjunction Junction. Conjunction Junction. What's your function? And the singers are Jack Sheldon. This is his debut. He sang this, so that's him singing. And it was Terry Morrell and Mary Sue Berry. And Bob Doro wrote the song. And it's set in a rail yard, and you have a train conductor, and he shows the viewers how conjunctions are worked by hooking up the boxcars together. And, but, and, or. And was the red boxcar, but was the yellow tank car, and or was the green hopper car. So that was so conjunction junction. What's your fun? They keep repeating that, through that one. That's a classic. That's wonderful. Number 15. That's the episode. It's interjection. Interjection. Dun, 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 dun. And that was sang by a singer called Ezra Mohawk, and Lynn Herons wrote the song. And it's about sometimes they go with interjections. And when the kid, he got a shot in the butt and he goes, "Ow, that hurts," or "Oh," and "Eek," and all that. And then at the end, they have this little girl saying "darn." That's the end, which is funny. Okay, and number 16 was Unpack Your Adjectives. I like this one. This was performed by Blossom Dearie, written by George Newell. And this is a young girl and a turtle. They go camping in the forest, and he used adjectives to describe people, places, and things they encounter. That's a good song. I like that. Number 17, Lolly, 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 get your abbers here. Oh, that one is catchy and it's stuck and sticks to your head all day. Lolly, 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 get your adverbs here. So the Lolly family, they own a store that sells adverbs, and they demonstrate the product. Bob Doro sang the song, and he provided all the voices of all three generations. You have the grandfather, the father, and the son. They did that. Next up is Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla. That one I don't remember much about, but this is about pronouns, and it's stressed by a trio of long names. Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla, his sister Gabriella Sarsaparilla, and his friend and narrator Albert Andres Armadillo. And they sang, and along with their pets consisted of a kangaroo, aardvark, and rhinoceros. I don't remember that one very well. Maybe when I got older, I stopped watching it. And two more of Grammar Rock, but they premiered much later. The Rufus one, that premiered in 1976. So the others were from the 1973, 1974. The last one was Lolly, Lolly, Lolly. So, but there were two other about Grammar Rock. One was busy prepositions. I can't even say that word. Blech. And then that was performed by Bob Doro and Jack Sheldon, and it was a horde of working ants called the Busy Peas, and they taught us about prepositions while they were on their jobs. Okay. And the last one was The Tale of Mr. Morton, performed by Jack Sheldon, and Lynn Herons wrote the episode. And it was about a single man named Mr. Morton. He was the subject of a series of sentences describing his life and his courtship with a neighbor. and it illustrates the grammatical constructs of the subject and the predicate. Learned that from school. Yeah, like that. And so that was fun. Okay, and next up we have, I think a lot of people remember this. It was the America Rock. Yeah. So let's see. America Rock was, this dealt with American history. So here we go. How many episodes were there? Quite a few. Okay, so that premiered, that was season 3. That premiered on September 20th, 1975. And the first episode of that, that's number 21, was No More Kings. That was performed by Lynn Harris and Bob Doro. And this is about the history of the 13 colonies and the beginning of the arrival of the Pilgrims, and spanning through just before the American Revolutionary War. And then the next one was Shot Heard Around the World. That was Bob Doro. He performed that. And that teaches about the American Revolution, you know. And number 23 was the preamble. Now, this one a lot of people remembered. And this is about the events of the Constitutional Convention of 1787 and the Constitution. And I remember that song. It was funny. And it was performed by Lynn Herons. And then we have number 24. That was Suffering Till Suffrage. That was performed by Ezra Mohawk. This is about a woman teaching the steps of women to get the right to vote. And, this is around the time, these episodes premiere around the time when America celebrated the bicentennial, America's 200th birthday. Yeah, so she did that. Like I said before, she teaches and sings about women getting the right to vote. Now, the next one, this is a classic. A lot of people remember this, and it's I'm Just a Bill. I'm just a bill. No, 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 no. And this is about a proposed transportation bill. He's depressed about being signed into law, and he just sits on the steps of the Capitol Hill. And he's talking to a young boy, and then he's explaining how the legislative process works, like that. And at the end of the song, he became a law, and he's happy. Yeah, but I'm just a bill, like that. That's a great song. Next up is number 26, The Great American Melting Pot. It was performed by Lori Lieberman, the singer, and this is teaches about immigration. And how they arrived at Ellis Island by the Statue of Liberty. Next up was Elbow Room. This is teaches about the westward expansion from moving south from the original of the 13 original colonies. That song's performed by Sue Manchester. And then you have Fireworks, that's sung by Grady Tate, and this teaches about the Declaration of Independence. And let's see. Then it's Mother Necessity. I remember this. This is about the inventions of titled to. She resembled like Whistler's mother, and it's like accounts of all the inventors' mothers, by famous inventors, like, for example, Samuel Morse, Thomas Edison, Elias Howe, and the Wright brothers. And the last one of the season was Three Ring Government. And that was, in this song, it's about a boy introduces the branches of the United States government. He does that. And that's sang by Lynn Ahrens. And, Mother Necessity, that's sang by Bob Doro, Blossom Dearie, Esther Mohawk, and Jack Sheldon. So they have 4 singers, all together. There were 2 others that were added much, much later, like a long way up, like early 2000s. One was I'm Going to Send Your Vote to College, that teaches about the Electoral College. And also Presidential Minute, the campaign trail. Uh, the college one that's sang by Jack Sheldon and Bob Dole, and the Presidential Minute, the campaign trail. This teaches about voting for the president. And that was originally recorded in 1996, and then they added in the DVD, and that was released in 2002. Ooh, like that. Okay. There are other song rock versions. There was science rock and also computer rock. I will get to those in a second. Right now, I'm going to play the. This is the sponsor of Multiplication Rock, and it's sponsored by General Foods. And I think a lot of people kind of remember it. I remember it too. That lasts about 13 seconds. So I will play that right now, and then when I go back, I'll talk about the rest about Schoolhouse Rock. Okay, everyone, thank you.
Multiplication Rock is brought to you by your very favorite General Foods.
Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoy. I'm back. Excuse me. I hope you enjoyed the sponsor for Multiplication Rock by General Foods. So right now, I'm going to talk about Science Rock. I never saw this, and that premiered a couple years later. And let's see. So I won't go into much detail. So I'll just read the episode. So here we go. So episode number 33. This premiered in September 16, 1978, and this is about Victim of Gravity, performed by the Tokens. The same group that performed the line "Sleeps Tonight." That's what they did. So it's about Isaac Newton and Galileo Galilei, involving with gravity. And also, number 34 was Interplanet Janet. That was performed by Lynn Ahrens. Remember that? This is about astronomy. Also, The Body Machine. That's performed by Bob Dole and Jack Sheldon. It's about nutrition. Did that. Number 36 was Do the Circulation. This is about your body's circulatory system. I can say the word. It's like an exercise video like that. Next is The Energy Blues, performed by Jack Sheldon. It's about energy production, for the environment. Next is Them Not So Dry Bones, performed by Jack Sheldon. This is about teaches about the human skeleton, and it's like they do like "Them Bones and Bones," that traditional song. Next up is Electricity. It's performed by Zachary Sanders. Teaches about electricity and the concepts of that, like voltage, current. Next is the telegraph line. And this is about like when I remember seeing this. It's like a cartoon. It's a cartoon that shows delivery telegrams. We have telegrams anymore. We have the app, and it passes messages inside your body, and it like representing pain and heat and stage fright. And last one of that, it was called The Greatest Show on Earth, The Weather Show. They aired that, but then Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus objected the name of the show. Don't do that because of a trademark like that. So they changed it to The Weather Show. And this is the show, The Greatest Show on Earth. This is about the weather. So, and it was performed by a singer, Bob Caliban. So there was controversy about that. Okay. Next up, we have Computer Rock. There were only 4 episodes of that. That premiered in 1982 sometime, and that was starting the technology age like that. And so the first episode it teaches about the computer. And the characters were Scooter Computer and Mr. Chips. And so this is pre-internet. Because this is during a time where I'm starting at DeVry Institute of Technology. We had that when I started school. I learned computer programming. Second one was about hardware, and it's about your computer software and hardware. Most people are familiar with that. But the second episode was about hardware. The third one was about software, like binary codes, and then they mentioned basic language, which I learned. That was my first subject at DeVry. Basic language. I remember that. I remember the teacher. Her name was Miss Harris. I still remember her name. She was a good teacher, and I learned that was my first computer language I learned at DeVry. Never used it on a job, but it was easy. I like that. Then we had the flow charts. And the last one, that was number 4. That was called Number Cruncher, and that was teaching how to calculate statistics. Numbers and all that. I took a course in statistics. At DeVry. I remember the teacher, Mr. Trainer. That was his name. Nice man. I remember one time I wrote on the L and he was right there. That was bizarre. Yeah. So, like that. And then the last one. No, it's not the last one. We have 2 more. We have Money Rock that premiered in May 7, 1994. This is about probably banking and economics. So I'll go really quickly. First episode of that was called Dollars and Cents. Cents, not C-N-T-S. Cents, S-E-N-S-E. Like that. Number 2 was about Taxman Max. Nobody likes taxes. Third one was called Where the Money Goes. Next one was $7.50 once a week. That's about exploring budgeting. They did that. And allowances. Next up was Tyrannosaurus Debt, not Rex. And this explains about the national debt in the United States, where that is spoken, quite frequently in the news. And Bill from I'm Just a Bill makes a cameo at the end of that. Oh, nice. Next was This for That. This is about the history of barter and trading, evolution of money supply throughout history. All the singers came back mostly. Jack Sheldon, Bob Doro. There were some other new ones as well. Next one we have Walking on Wall Street. This is about the stock market. We talked about that. And last one is The Checks in the Mail. And this song teaches about the process of check going through. Now, these days, a lot of people don't write checks. They do electronically. I still do from time to time. But, when you pay your bills, you do it online. Do that. Okay. Next up, we have and the last one was Earth Rock. That was season 7. The others were 5 and 6. These never aired on TV. They were released direct to video. Okay. So how many were there? Ooh, quite a few. Yeah. So I'll read off real quickly. This episode was called Report from the North Pole. This is about global warming. Very hot topic. Next one is The Little Things We Do. This is about energy conservation. And next episode is The Trash Can Ban. That's about recycling. Next is You Ought to Be Saving Water. This is about water conservation. The other one is the rainforest. That's about rainforests, of course. Next up, Save the Ocean. This is about oceans. Next up, Fat Cat Blue, the Clean River Song. That's about marine debris, about pollution. That. Then we have Tiny Urban Zoo. This is about gardens. Interesting, like them. And then next is Solar Power to the People. This is about solar energy. When you have those solar panels on your houses, under the roofs of your house. And next is about Windy and the Windmills. That's about wind power. And let's see. Then we have Don't Be a Carbon Sasquatch. This is about carbon footprint. And the last one is the 3 R's. And this is about reduce, reuse, and recycle. This is about recycling. I never saw these at all. I never saw them on video, but I did buy the video for Schoolhouse Rock. So let's see. I'm trying to remember when I bought it and all that. I bought a VHS tape at a comic book convention and listed it was not in great condition, and it featured most of them. Some were missing, and it featured actress Cloris Leachman, best known as Phyllis from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She hosted the show. That was my first taste of these anime shorts on video. Then it was released. Let's see, on DVD. And the DVD was released on August 27, 2002. Then I think they were bought up by Walt Disney and released and let's see, it was released on 2 DVDs. It was to coincide with the 30th anniversary of the show, but it started in 1973. There were the Earth ones, and I think what was the other one? I can't think of it on the top of my head. Just a moment, please. Yeah, so the Earth Rock ones was not included, so you had to wait. So I didn't know that existed. So I don't have that on DVD, not the Earth Rock ones, just up to the Computer Rock? Money Rock. Up to Money Rock I got. Yeah, I have that. Maybe I'll buy it someday, get the whole shebang. And so that's kind of cool. So I have that. I watched it. I watched from the beginning to the end, starting with Multiplication Rock, Grammar Rock, America Rock, all those classic ones I used to watch when I was a kid. And most of the songs were released on CD, performed by artists, by singers like that. It's kind of funny like that. And they did tribute, like for example, they did a tribute album with all the songs from Schoolhouse Rock. Like for example, there was Blind Melon, and do you remember them? They were the alternative band. They sang 3 is a Magic Number. They sang that. The Lemonheads sang Verb. Yeah, that's kind of cool, like that. And let's see what else. So they also did a musical, a live musical, and it was called Schoolhouse Rock Live, and they did it in the theater. And the singers that sang on the cartoon shows, they performed in person, right, live on stage. They did that in 1993. And then they did a follow-up called Schoolhouse Rock Live 2, and by the same team. They did that, but that premiered in Chicago, my hometown, in 2000. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of nice. What's great about Schoolhouse Rock was it was very unique. in when it comes to education. I did the 50th anniversary of Zoom last year at this time, and the electric company. So there were a lot of education shows then that were entertaining, but also educational, like that for even with Mr. Rogers, like the ones I mentioned before, electric company, Zoom, Schoolhouse Rock. Can't think of the top of my head like that. But it was interesting. It's fun like that. And some of the songs are still sung to this day by people, and they remember this fondly, like me. So that's it. Ooh, that's a long episode. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. So that is it for this show. I discussed about the 50th anniversary of Schoolhouse Rock that aired on the ABC network, which in Chicago was WLS-TV Channel 7 in Chicago. And that's a very interesting show. It's a 50th anniversary. I had to mention that. So I decided to do a podcast episode about it, which I'm glad. Okay. So this is Pico Stanis, your host of Vanishing Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. This program will be published shortly. You can find it wherever podcasts are available: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. People always ask me where else could I listen to your podcast? You can listen on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Vanishing Chicagoland Stories. That will be ready probably this afternoon, and I will post it on my social media accounts. You will be able to find it. Just click on it. I will probably do another episode Tuesday. I probably will. Yeah, we'll see. I'll think of something. I always do. Something will come up like that. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll talk to you soon. So bye-bye from me. If I didn't mention my name, this is because I'm your host of the show. So bye-bye from me, and here's Ray Rayner saying bye-bye-bye with a little traveling music. So long, folks, and take care. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.